So there's a lot to catch up on. It's been a minute, but I moved to New York City. I am in a new relationship. I started a nudism journey. So if you're a nudist, naturist, I'll be talking a little bit about that. But also, I've begun studying to become a certified sex coach. So within the year, I'll be able to open a coaching program to help people with sexuality, shame, anything around sex. Really excited, and I wanted to tell you more about everything that I am journeying through. This is Bo. This is my partner's dog, who is like my stepson now, and he's joining me. He's so cute. I love him so much. So yeah, we'll start off with New York. I'm here. Some of you who have been following my journey for some time know that I lived in New York before for 7 years. And I left back in 2022 to move back home after life crumbled beneath me. I was like at rock bottom. I lost my job. I lost the relationship that I was in before. And there was no reason for me to stay here anymore. So I ended up moving back home. And after a couple years back home, I was really craving the city. I was craving the electricity that New York brings into your life. Although there's some things that I'm always fed up with, like the trains, the overpopulation. But New York is a special place, and it holds a special place in my heart. And I don't know, something in my life, something in me, something in the universe was telling me to come back here. So I'm assuming and going with the flow and just knowing that living in New York City is a part of my next chapter. I've always felt a creativity here. There's lots to do here. You can accomplish a lot here. One of the main reasons why I wanted to move back here was because of the culture and the community that I have here, but also can build here. As a Black queer person, as an Afro-Latino, I really wanted to be more around Black and brown queer people. That's one of the big reasons why I decided to move back to New York City, and what really pushed me to make that decision to come back here. I'm really excited to be around friends that I have made here in the past, and to reconnect with them and to be closer to them. Although it's been really difficult for me to be away from my other best friends who live back home in Boston. However, we are very close in that we don't have to live close to each other in order to maintain our friendship. And some of them are moving anyways, which is also sad because it's just a reminder that we are adults and life moves on, and we have to continue to roll with those punches and accepting the fact that life does move on and it's not always going to stay the same, which is actually a great thing, even though it can be painful at times. Living in New York City, though, in this new era of my life is really exciting because I'm continuing on my healing journey. It never ends. I've healed a lot. I've gone through a lot of change, and I'm excited for what New York City is going to offer me in terms of being able to be more creative and to expand my horizons in regards to my healing journey, and a lot of other things. So I'm really excited to really keep doing that, and just finding happiness here. And I would say finding love, but I've already found that, which is, my next kind of update here is I have been in a relationship for 7 months now, and it has been exciting and beautiful and terrifying because I've had to confront a lot about myself. One thing that I think people forget about relationships is that they force you to confront parts of yourself that you otherwise aren't aware of, because when you're with another person, they essentially are like a mirror in your life. They are a mirror, and they are reflecting back things that you, for the most part, are ignoring and or are just not aware of. Met my partner, actually he DM'd me on Instagram, and I don't know, something just told me to respond, and we began, I was living in Boston at the time. we began DMing each other back and forth, and then we ended up FaceTiming and doing FaceTime dates because he wanted to go on an actual date, but I was like, hey, I'm living in Boston, so it's gonna take a while for us to be able to hang out. And he was like, well, I still would love to get to know you, so how about a FaceTime date like in COVID times? And I was like, yeah, I'm all for that. It's really weird for me to talk about this because I've always been scared to talk about my relationships, mainly because I have always feared looking stupid or dumb or silly if it ends, you know, if it's not successful. I have always felt like this fear that if I show people that my relationships are not successful, that I'm not, I don't know, put together, healed, I'm not, whatever word you want to use that makes you look like a great person. So I've had to really confront a lot of, I don't know, difficult things about myself. And it's really been painful because one thing I've really come to notice about myself is that I tend to run away from getting close to people. And that is because of my trauma growing up and the things that I have been through. And I thought I've healed a lot of the things that I experienced when I was younger, and I have. However, again, being in relationship, as you grow, as you change, and then being reflected back by another person, things that may not have been completely healed open up, you know? And so it's just been scary for me because I, you know, like I said, am scared to get close to people, but this person really loves me, really wants to take care of me, really makes me feel safe, really makes me feel loved and seen and accepted. And I have had to overcome my fear in order to allow this love into my life, and it has been beautiful. And I hope to continue on this new journey of love with this individual, and see where it goes. And I can't see the future, so that fear of things potentially ending could happen. But with love, I think everybody knows you got to take a chance, and you have to just, you know, trust that wherever the universe, God, your higher power is guiding you, that's where you're meant to be in that very moment, or who you're with in that very moment is who you're supposed to be, whether that be the love of your life or a lesson for that chapter of your life. Now, the great thing, or one of the greatest things that my partner has helped me to begin a journey on is nudism. He himself is a nudist. This is something that terrified me in the beginning because he was part of a nudist group, and he also teaches nude yoga, and so I had to accept the fact that my partner was going to be around other people, other men, completely naked. And at first I thought, oh, like, that's not an issue for me. I practice ethical non-monogamy as well, and you know, I was like, oh, fine, like, that's not going to be difficult for me to deal with. But surprise, surprise, all of my insecurities, you know, came flushing back, or flooding back is what I meant to say, in some instances. And I had to confront, like, whoa, why am I feeling like this? I thought, you know, I was okay with the thought of my partner being naked around other people, especially when it's work related or even just in social gatherings, which is actually what catapulted me into my own journey of nudism, because I wanted to understand how you could be in a room full of naked men and not be having sex. And this journey of nudism has been probably one of the most profound journeys of healing that I have been on, because it has allowed me to really see myself in another light, to really love my body in a different way, to really understand that being nude doesn't always mean having sex. I have had to look at my body in a different way, accept my body for what it is, whether it be whatever shape it's taking in that time in my life. And I've also had to get comfortable with other people seeing my body however it is showing up in the very moment that they may be viewing it. Because I've always been nude around people that I'm going to have sex with, and so it's almost like in those moments I have prepared myself to be nude in front of a person. So any things that I'm insecure of, or any ways that I want to be perceived, I can kind of plan it, and I can kind of say, okay, I want the person to look at me like this, or I'm gonna wear this, or I'm going to position myself like this so that my body looks really great for this person. Whereas being a nudist now and being on this nudism journey, visiting places like a spa, for example, a nude spa, or the nude beach, there's not always an opportunity to present your body in the way that you feel is going to be or look the best. Because when you're in a spa, you're just walking around, or you're enjoying the jacuzzi or the steam room. And I know some of y'all are thinking like other things happen in spas, and yes, of course they do, but you don't have to do those things. You can actually just go there and be nude and enjoy the facilities, which is what I and my partner do together. And because of that, I've had to allow my body to just be as it is. You know, my penis not being hard or semi-hard, and it just kind of showing the way that it shows. Maybe that day I'm feeling bloated, or I am bloated, and so my stomach is maybe a little bit bigger. Maybe I haven't been doing as much chest workouts, and my chest doesn't feel or look as big as I would like it to look. I also have a little bit of extra skin on the sides of my chest that I've always been kind of insecure about. But just allowing that to just allowing my body to just be as is in those spaces has really liberated me, or continues to liberate me out of those feelings of insecurity and fear, and really just looking at my body and saying, this is the body that has carried me for the last 34 years of my life, and it has gone through a lot of change, it has gone through a lot of pain, it has gone through a lot of love. And I want to continue to show it love. I want to continue to show it appreciation. And what is the best way for me to show it appreciation, if not by saying, hey, look at me, I'm completely naked. This is the body that I exist in, and I don't need another person to approve of the way that my body looks in order for me to love it. And that's what nudism has done for me, and is continuing to do for me. I'm still getting over fears and insecurities around being nude around people in certain spaces. I'm still getting comfortable with that fact. The spa has been my safe space right now. I tried a nude beach this past summer, couldn't do it. I went, but I had these kind of like underwear on still. I wasn't completely naked because it just didn't feel, I didn't feel safe enough in that moment, and I didn't feel secure enough in that moment. But as I continue on this nudism journey, I'm learning so much about all of these different ideas or scenarios that I've created in my head, or expectations for myself based on my fear of how other people would perceive me, whether that be the size of my penis, whether that be the size of my butt, whether that be if I'm skinny, if I'm fat, if I'm muscular, if I'm, you know, not muscular, which my body type is usually muscular. I've been working out for a very long time, so yes, I have muscles, I understand that. I have a more accepted body type. However, even having an accepted body type, I go up and down in weight, and sometimes I don't have abs, or I'm looking a little bit blubby. I don't even know if that's a word, but I'm making it up. My point is, it really has allowed me to liberate myself from those expectations that I'm putting onto myself in fear that other people are going to view me in a particular way and judge me. So this has been the most profound journey thus far, I think, in my healing journey, and I love it. I'm excited. I wish I could be nude on this camera right now for YouTube, but I can't. But actually, I will be starting a Patreon soon that goes a little bit deeper into not only my nudism journey, but behind the scenes stuff, more about my personal life. And so I will be starting that in the near future, probably in early 2026. So stay tuned if you want to catch that. I will have my nudism journey there. Yes, I will be nude. No, it will not be like me playing with myself or anything like that. I really want to continue to challenge myself and liberate myself from this fear of being nude in front of other people and accepting that as a part of my life, because it's beautiful and I actually really enjoy it. Because wearing clothes, it's like, oh, you put things on and you're like, I want to be viewed this way. I want to be viewed masculine. I want to be viewed sexy. I want to be viewed rich. I want to be viewed cultured. Whereas when you're completely nude, all a person has is your body to look at. And so they can't really make preconceived notions about you and where you come from or who you are, because they don't have clothes to look at and make those judgments or make those perceptions on. So that has been the best journey that I have gone on thus far, and most life-changing for sure. At least one of the most life-changing. And that leads me to my last update here, is that I have begun a certification to become a sex coach. The reason why I am doing this certification to become a sex coach is because I have realized for myself in my life, the shame that I have held on to has had a lot to do with sex and sexuality. And I have always wanted this liberation of my sexuality, my expression of my sexuality. I've always feared expressing my sexuality because I thought, oh, I'm not going to be respected, I'm not going to be taken seriously, and I'm not going to find love. But over the years, as I leaned more into expressing my sexuality, none of those things have come to fruition, in that I may not get respect from everybody, but I get respect from the people that I respect. And it doesn't matter if somebody takes me seriously or not. If a job doesn't want to hire me, which by the way, I've had a job for the last 3 years, great job, you know, and I've never worried about not being able to have a job based on my expression. Well, actually, that's not true, because I've worried about that before, but I've never let it stop me from pursuing opportunities. And for most of the time, I get the opportunities that I pursue in terms of work. So working. So regardless if, you know, people are going to take me seriously or not, doesn't matter. What is meant for me is going to come to me. And I think that as I continue on being my most authentic self, then those opportunities that I really want to be a part of will present themselves to me. So the last bit there is finding love. I always thought, oh, if I show sexuality or sexual expression on my social media, people won't be interested in me anymore. People won't want to be in a relationship with me. They won't think that I'm lovable, which is not true, because I'm in a loving relationship now, and he accepts me for all of who I am, has no insecurity around my social media or how I present myself, embraces my sexuality, and often comes along in that journey with me. It's just so beautiful. And I say that to say that I bring this up to say that being your most authentic self, as cliche as it may sound, even though sometimes there's limitations and even individuals may not have the same privilege that another individual holds. I know I have some privileges. However, I think that the idea that if we express ourselves in the way that we feel truest, that we won't find love or respect or community, is just not true. There's a lot of other people out in this world that are like us, are like you, that you can find, that will gravitate towards you, that you will attract if you show up as who you are. So I'm excited for this coaching certification, which I kind of got off track telling you about, but this is gonna allow me to really help other people who might have been going through what I went through in terms of expressing myself sexually, or even just accepting my sexuality and my sexual expression. I want people to be able to lean into that, into those liberation practices, and really find a framework that works for them. And hopefully I can help people guide people along the way as they take their own journey. So, shh. Oh, he's always barking or growling at the door, as one dog does, or as dogs do. But yeah, those are my updates. I'm really excited to come back onto YouTube and to tell and to bring y'all into my life, back into my life. I have a lot of exciting things coming up in 2026. I have a podcast that I'm starting soon. Like I mentioned, I'm starting my Patreon account, and I will be bringing back my my workshops that I used to do. So if you've been here for a while, thank you so much for continuing to support me. I've taken breaks, some short, some long, but all necessary. And I'm excited to show you where I am in my life now and what I have to offer to the community in order for us all to heal. So much love. Let me know in the comments if you have gone through any huge changes in your life recently and what you might be preparing for in 2026. Leave a like, subscribe if you want more of this content. I'm excited to be able to interact with all of you. Thanks.